just a minute. Okay, looks like we are live. Well, hello everyone. I haven't been live in just a little bit here. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, and then now we're going live on Instagram. We're live now. So, welcome everyone, and I want you guys to meet a really amazing individual, Neil Turner. Say hi, Neil.
Hi, everybody.
So, I wanted to bring Neil on. You know, many times you guys have seen me doing patient spotlights, so I'll take our patients who've had phenomenal results and just talk to them about what they've done in the Fast 40. But I also love, you know, exposing what they do to my audience. So first of all, many people have seen the title of this, and I don't remember if I got the inches right, but at the time of finishing Fast 40, you had lost 25 pounds and I think 18 or 19 inches. Are we still at that point, or where are we at right now?
As of today, I am 39 pounds lighter.
Good God, I wish I had changed my title. Oh my gosh, 39 pounds?
Yeah.
Okay,
39.
so let's just quickly ask. We live in a world of inject yourself with chemicals and just lose weight magically, but it screws up people's hormones. How the heck did you lose 39 pounds? And did you just chemically induce yourself and inject yourself to do it?
Yeah, lots of chemical vegetables and protein and some fruit. Yeah, that was about it.
Yeah. And did you starve yourself to lose the weight?
No. In fact, in the beginning, it was a little more challenging. I wasn't eating enough. But as I dialed that in the course of maybe 3 or 4 days, I was eating plenty. In fact, I couldn't ever eat all of the food at the same time. I had to always eat my fruit an hour and a half later or something like that.
Yeah. So would you tell, for people watching, can you just break down, like, how did you lose that? How did you lose that weight? Because you've been through some weight loss stuff before this. Like, what was different about what you've done previously?
Yeah, I probably have done any number of things that people are familiar with, but I also grew up as a wrestler and a football player, and I lost a lot of weight as a wrestler. None of it was ever healthy, so I would drop weight, starve, and ultimately start eating more, gain weight, whatever food I could eat. And that sort of carried through my adult life, and I found this yo-yo effect. Long story short, though, I ended up finding this opportunity to go through the Fast 40 after just having no success whatsoever with anything that I was trying. Juice fasts, starvation diets, all essentially is what I was doing. And one thing led to another, and I started following the Fast 40 program. It was fairly straightforward and not much to adjust to. I think when it was all said and done, it was just the initial understanding of how things worked. And then I found a groove. But I really just ate as I was supposed to, on time, and the same sort of protein, vegetable, fruit every day for, well, I'm at 97 days right now. And I still eat pretty much the same stuff
Yeah.
over and over again. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So for people to hear this, just to confirm, Neil did not inject himself with harmful chemicals. And that's an important thing to understand. It's almost this uncomfortable thing that's happening in our society now, is when someone loses weight, it's like, you must be on some kind of drugs. And
yeah, that actually came up quite a bit.
Did it? Tell me, what do you mean?
Yeah, it came up just last week, actually. But and it came up Friday. I was at a birthday party, and people hadn't seen me in quite a while, or hadn't seen pictures of me in a while. But I think the first thought a lot of times nowadays is, oh, what Ozempic are you on, or GLP-1 are you on? Is it Ozempic or Wegovy or something like that? I mean, they just automatically go to that. You must be on some sort of medication. And I immediately would say, no, that's not the case at all. I'm actually doing a hormone reset, a metabolism reset. I'm eating plenty of food, and, just kind of walk through the deal. But it's interesting to me to see how quickly people say what they say about GLP-1s, and then how accepted it is. I mean, it's just maybe a year or two, and it was not very good and not accepted and lots of side effects, to now everything's fine. And, you should be doing that because that's how much weight you lost. Yeah, that's not the case.
Yep. And Neil, can I also just say, so I just got off the phone with someone just about an hour ago. She's on GLP-1s, okay, and she's been on them for 6 months. 6 months. How much weight did she lose in 6 months? What do you think?
Well, it's a very slow process from what I understand. So my guess is maybe 12 pounds.
Good guess. It's about 14 pounds in 6 months.
Yeah.
So let's put this in perspective. Neil lost 20, 24, 25 pounds in just about the 40 something days. And let's keep in perspective. I think you said you're about 39 pounds down. So that means Neil has been done with our hormone reset, and he's now 50 days out, still losing weight, not starving himself. And this is what the reason I bring this up is the moment someone gets off the injections, they gain all the way back. And so I want to just reiterate this because there is the right way, the sustainable way to do things. It's not easy, but Neil doesn't have to worry. You don't have to worry about gaining this weight back. He's eating enough, eating on time, not starving himself. And so it's really interesting to see how I would put money down right now within 3 to 5 years. We are literally going to look back and think, oh my God, how did we inject ourselves with chemicals to lose weight? And the reason I know this is we already been through this cycle. About 10 years ago, there was an injection called HCG. Mm-hmm. Same process. Everyone was a big fad for years, and then they found it caused breast cancer. Right? You have to wait 5-10 years to find out what it does to the body. So I want to congratulate you. I was going to ask just what changes have you felt physically, mentally, emotionally from losing that much weight and not doing it by starving yourself?
Well, that's a long conversation or answer. Yeah, I mean, it's been really surprising in many ways and bolstering some other things that I've had awareness around previously. But I think what the Fast 40 ultimately did is just give me a better understanding of my body. And the weight loss is one thing, that's a byproduct, but the mental capacity that I have now to understand what it is that I was doing, how things were affecting my body, how I felt. I mean, your guidance and the questions that were asked, the sitting with the moments that I was struggling with, whether it's, sugar or cravings or what have you, those things are the lasting effects. I mean, I took some yoga classes recently, and I've taken some, since I finished the program. But I just keep noticing things when I'm in these classes. And this last class I took, I noticed just how much I could move my body in a way that I couldn't before. I thought I was more flexible. No, it wasn't flexibility. It was I just didn't have this giant cushion holding me up, or I didn't have strain on my body that prolonged, strain that was preventing me from doing certain things.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been much different. I can walk up and down stairs without breathing heavy. One of my teammates just came in and she's like, there's a big change in you. I think you're going to need new clothes. I'm like a guy that's wearing clothes that don't fit me anymore and a belt that's on its last rung. And, I can't hide it anymore. Everyone's noticing, and, that's a good thing. But, yeah, we'll see. As people continue to see me that haven't seen me in a while, it's an eye opener.
Very cool. Very cool. Thanks for sharing that, Neil. And I want to say there's an identity shift. You've been through this before, Neil. And what's really wild is the identity of being the fat guy. That sits there, but now you're not. So I'll watch people just become healthy, lose that much weight, but the identity of the fat guy is still there. And it's almost like it's this process of I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm not the heavy guy anymore. It's very interesting to watch. And I also want to acknowledge you. So I want to say this because I work with mostly women. We have many men who've gone through this program. Men do great in this program. One of the main reasons that we don't advertise to men is because women in general tend to take action on their health before men do. Mm-hmm. And men will literally wait for a heart attack and still not eat right, and still not stop drinking, and still not stop smoking. I noticed that men are very slow. Now that might seem abrasive, but I've been doing this for 20 years as a chiropractor. It was the same across the board.
Mm.
Women take faster action. I think they might listen to their pain. We think we're more tough. We put up with stuff. So I want to acknowledge you, Neil, for jumping into doing this, because you are like me. Is I already know the short-term pain is going to lead to long-term pleasure. The short-term pleasure is going to lead to long-term pain. And so just acknowledging that you're changing the curve for men. Thank you. For jumping in that. So
well, to that point, let me add to that, because that's interesting, point. So I have various guys that, have obviously seen me post and pre, and the sort of challenging conversation comes up around what I've been doing and then what it would take to do that. Oh, you're not eating that way, or you're not drinking that way. And then what I get to tell them is, honestly, I get headaches now. If I drink more than a beer or more than one drink, I get a headache. And so now I don't even feel like doing it more than I ever did before. I just, it's annoying to me that I wake up and feel not good, to say the least. And then if I eat sugar, like, a birthday party and I eat some cake, and, Halloween, and I'm having chocolate or something with the kids, and the next day I notice it right away. And then I start noticing, oh, now I have the sort of addictive feeling, the sensation. My brain is saying, you want more of that, don't you? You want more of that, don't you? And I have to literally stop myself from going back and getting more again. And I have to sit with myself in the moment, the feeling. And that was something that you encouraged in the Fast 40. But I think that's where the men really find the issue more than anything else, is society isn't telling men you should be thinner as much as I think it tells women. It's okay to be, a beer gut and drink, beer and eat food and whatever. But we don't have the pressures, I think, like women do, to be a certain look and a certain feel in our clothes and so on. But the reality is, I think men are much more concerned than they lead on to, and maybe the younger generations are better, but it stuck. When I started telling people how I felt like crap, they were more open to the idea of taking care of themselves.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for mentioning that. And in other words, what you're saying is you have more connection with your body now, so it can tell you when it doesn't like the thing you're doing. How crazy is that before, when you're drinking a lot, it doesn't give you a headache? That's dangerous, that your body can't communicate with us anymore. And I think it's very interesting to note that. So what's really cool is I got to go in and into your office, and I wanted to talk about what you do here, because with financial advisor stuff, I have many business owners. Most of my network are entrepreneurs, and I've sold a business. And you'd mentioned what you did, and what I said to you was, oh shit, I could have used you a long time ago before I sold my business. So would you just describe what you do? Because I want to, this is an important thing.
I've been thinking about this question, and after we chatted about it, and really what I'm doing in the financial space is what a version of what you're doing in the health space. I work with my clients to be financially healthy, financially fit. I take a very holistic approach to their financial world, and I help educate them and coach them, guide them, so that they have an understanding of what it means to be financially healthy, what it means to do certain things that are appropriate for them and where they're at, whether they're a business owner, or they're a family, or an individual. And I take a much more hands-on approach, so that I'm not just talking about investments. And I think most of the people in my business, that's all they really get into with clients, is investments and how to manage those accounts. And while that's important, and I do that, there's so much more to someone's financial world. You have to get to the root of the issue. Why aren't you saving more? Why is your money going here? Why did you grow up the way that you did? And think about money now as an adult. That is a much more deep-rooted sort of conversation that takes a lot more time and effort, and it is going beyond just managing someone's investment accounts. So for me, it's a very empowering thing to see my clients feel like they've got a tremendous sense of understanding and confidence to move forward and have a resource to grow their wealth, to be financially fit and help and happy. And I would say this, you've never seen a poor person physically healthy to the degree that you see wealthier people.
There you
So I
go.
strongly believe that the work that I do to help people financially has a direct bearing on their personal health, their physical health, their family's health. And it's a big commitment that I make to my clients to help them get to that place so that they can afford to, work with someone like you if need be, or take care of themselves by going to the doctor or have the surgery. Right now, health insurance. How many people are going to skip out on health insurance or cut back on their health insurance because the premiums are going up so much?
Yeah.
That's a horrible thing. And they won't take care of themselves, and they're going to see other diseases and stress and the function of that stress projecting onto their health in negative ways. So I feel very passionate about what the work I do, and I feel like it runs parallel with the work that you're doing, and that's what I really wanted to stress here today.
That's a really great core. I love how you correlated together. Let's ask this question then. Who is the ideal client? Meaning, like for me, someone who's got 10 to 30, 40 pounds and can't get it off with diet or exercise is a great client. So who is your ideal client that you attract and work with?
Well, like you, the ideal client is not just someone that has 30, 40 pounds. It's someone that's ready to commit to making a change. It's someone that's going to say, I could use the resources of a professional, and they are going to pay for those resources, and they are going to do what's needed to do the thing that's going to help them go through the process. So my ideal client in the business owner space is someone that fits in that realm. I like working with clients that I get along with, but I certainly like working with clients that make things, business owners that make things that are making a difference in the world with their company, with their employees, and helping them and their families. I come from the automotive background, so I enjoy those types of clients that have stuff that they're making. Services and so on are all right, but it's just one of those things where I can really work with people that they get their hands into things. On the personal side, I work with plenty of clients. I have a tendency to work with families, people that are similar to me, people that care about others, people that want to protect and grow their wealth, and then eventually retire in the way that they believe is best for them. And that's again, people that feel like they're ready to take the step and move beyond doing the work themselves and engage a professional to help them. And I believe everybody should have the opportunity to work with somebody. The one thing that I do not have is a minimum investable asset sort of conversation with clients. And you hear this a lot from investment advisors.
Right.
If you don't have $250,000, I will not be able to work with you. To me, that puts the advisor in the driver's seat, and it puts the client in the back seat. My process does not work like that. I have a planning fee that I charge my clients, and then I help manage investments. I help manage insurance as well. But I am letting my clients work with me because they can afford to pay the fee, not because they don't have enough of the investments. And I will work with clients until the death do us part is really what my pitch is to them, because you got to climb the mountain and you got to come back down.
I love that. Kit, let's ask this. And this might be putting you on the spot, but I kind of want to know this. What are the top 3, let's say, mistakes or things that people are doing wrong when it comes to their financial health?
I think the one thing that people often do is they listen to others that don't know really what they're talking about, following the herd. The same thing in personal health, right? Like if you just do a juice fast like I did, then you're going to be totally fine. And you're like, yeah, that may not be appropriate for you. And it probably wasn't appropriate for many other people that were told that. So for me, I think that's one thing is listening to the news, listening to the media, listening to friends and colleagues and people that really don't have the ability to know what your situation is and provide actual appropriate guidance as to what that should look like for your financial world. I think another issue is people don't focus on protecting themselves, protecting what they have, protecting what they built. They let things sort of go, things sort of slip. They just do the minimum. Geico could save you 15%. Well, that's because you're getting the bare minimum And if something does happen, it's almost the worst situation because your coverage is so insufficient. So my thing is, let's protect today so we can build for tomorrow. And then I would say the third thing is just not saving enough, just not putting enough money away for tomorrow. The likelihood of tomorrow coming is really great. I mean, most people are not going to pass away early. So we need a lot more money than people realize in the future for that retirement that we want. And I can say this, most people today are not retiring because they want to with the money that they feel good about. They're retiring because they have to. And one of the primary reasons that they have to retire, health. So what you do is exactly what I'm talking about financially, though. I don't want you to retire because of health, because you took care of yourself. So that's the third thing I think is a big one. Not saving enough money and not putting it away for the tomorrow that will inevitably come for majority of us.
Yeah. So those are wow. That was perfect. So listening to other people, and then not putting away enough money, and then there was a third one that was, I think that was the actual second one I missed.
Not protecting themselves.
Not protecting.
Managing risk.
Yeah, right. So I kind of want to. I mean, this is such. We're gonna go live again because I want to have a longer conversation about these things. But I'm kind of curious because I know what I hear from the health industry about people, listening to the media and like fasting and starvation and juice fast, like you said. These things are causing people to get worse, not better. What is like one or two things that you hear being told to people that they're following that may not be appropriate for them?
I think a lot of times it is you're going to be in a lower tax bracket when you get into retirement. And that used to be a lot more true for our parents, perhaps, and maybe even some of the baby boomers that are retiring these days. But I think as we see things moving forward from a tax perspective, that is not necessarily what I'm seeing with a lot of clients. And then my question is, do you really want to be in a low tax bracket when you retire? Because that just means you're not making that much money. And I'd rather make a lot more money in retirement and have a higher tax bracket that I have to deal with than make a lot less money and a lower tax bracket. And that's what I find a lot of people are thinking that they're going to be in a lower bracket because of. So one thing leads to another.
Yeah.
And, that's just not the way that we want to work that through.
Well, I kind of want to ask you that. Do you, because that's something I'm interested in, is do you help? Listen, I'm on my fourth business. I eventually, and I've been through 7 accountants. I've been through investment advisors. I eventually bought a book on taxes about 5 years ago. Okay. I read this book. Here's what I found out, Neil. The taxes were designed to make you feel small. Even if you stayed up to date with taxes, you'd never understand it all. And that made me feel empowered because I felt stupid. Like I felt dumb when it came to taxes. And for me to kind of understand that was like, oh, it's designed to be confusing. But I would love to know, is that something you help for tax planning and especially from a business standpoint?
100%. One of the major things that we focus on is tax strategies, tax planning. I'm not a CPA, so I work in conjunction with a tax professional, whether it's business owner clients or individuals. But I would stress more and more that taxes are a major consideration, and you have to deal with taxes and the strategies related to them in an earlier stage than when you get to retirement. You can't just wait and then hope that everything's going to work out from a tax perspective. So a plan of hope is never what we want to focus on. So my goal is to always think about the strategies that we can implement today that will have a direct impact on the taxes, mostly for tomorrow, because it's not so much how much you have in retirement, it's about how well you can spend it. And you think about a business owner that sells their business for $10 million, but by the time taxes are done, it's worth $5 million.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the retirement they wanted. They wanted the $7 or $8 million retirement, but they didn't have a tax conversation. They didn't employ, tax strategists. And then they get to the retirement time, they sell their business, and the party is not what they thought it would be. So
Interesting.
it's
Yeah,
a
that's
big
a good
factor.
point. Well, we have to have more conversation. We have like just a few minutes. So someone
Sure.
actually asked a question from Instagram, and I
Oh,
wanted to
wow.
see if you have this minute. Yeah. So she said, I'm a small business owner focusing on scaling my business and picking up additional streams of income. What is a good number for an average family of 4 or 5? There's probably a lot of factors in that, right?
Yeah. What is the number supposed to be? A good number of what?
I don't know. I think what she means is the good number of, she said, I'm a small business owner, scaling her business, picking up additional streams of income. What's a good number for an average family of 4 or 5? Either she means number of income or number of savings. I think she might be talking about savings.
Well, I couldn't say income because that's going to be relative to any, where you live and who you are and what your lifestyle is.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this, as far as savings go, I would say if you can save somewhere between 15 and 20% of your gross income, then that has proven over many years now, and what we can project out into the future, to be a good, healthy savings rate. And then, of course, you're putting that money to work in various assets like retirement accounts or investment accounts or what have you. But most people are under saving somewhere 10 or less percentage points. So
gotcha. Okay.
15 to 20%. Now, that is very difficult for people to do. So I would say what I typically tell people is start at a percentage. Percentages are better than a fixed number because as your income varies, so does your percentage. That's a proportion.
Yeah.
So if you're saving 5% of your income, then the next year save 6%, or 6 months from now save 6%, and just kind of work your way up to see how it goes.
Okay.
Again, it's kind of like when you were coaching me. It's like, all right, we'll start by eating this many ounces of food, and then build up and see how that feels, and then build up and see how that feels.
Yeah, good correlation. Well, I know right at about that time, Neil, this is really fun. I know we're gonna go live again. I think you're gonna pop my calendar. Let's schedule again. I want to kind of go in depth. Like I love these two areas are such fun areas to talk about, health and money. Like I don't know if there's more. The only other topic that's probably just as powerful is the relationships. But when you don't have your health, I found when I don't have my health, man, you're not really thriving in money or relationships.
That's right.
But when you don't have money, you're not really thriving in your healthy relationships. So these topics, I don't think it'd be more important topics to chat about. So thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate you. And we're gonna do this again, I think within the next week or so, right?
Yeah. We got to put some time on the calendar for that.
That's very cool. Thanks so much for being a hunter, man. And let's do this next week, and I think we'll run through the